Welcome to Age Potential TV. I'm Lori Campbell, your host, gerontologist, and advocate of your best life, here to introduce you to an emerging trend called Age Potential. Here's to living out your age potential. The phrase, when you have your health, you have everything, may be a mere cliche to some, but not to Beth Paterson. Welcome, Beth.
Thank you for having me.
March 1995 forever changed your life. That was the time frame you were rear-ended and left disabled.
Correct.
Wow. Yeah. Tell us about that time.
I was actually in Chicago enjoying time with my then boyfriend and visiting my family, and got rear-ended by somebody talking to kids in their back seat. And my life was turned upside down almost instantly. I felt some pains, thinking it was maybe whiplash, but within a couple hours, the chronic pain started, and I started having the pain in my back and limited moving, and a lot of issues with that.
Sure. What did they give you, a medical diagnosis, or was it a combination of things?
Initially, I waited till I got back to the cities and went to see a chiropractor, because I believe in going to the alternative route of the chiropractor versus the medical. Mm-hmm. And it was muscular and a lot of pain. As I describe it, is picture your back as a flatbed truck, and you've got 20 tons of bricks on that flatbed truck or your back, and you've got a jackhammer pounding on it. That's how it felt.
Well, tell us what came about in your healing journey. I mean, obviously you're healthy now and able to move freely.
I am. The healing journey, I treated all naturally, and so seeing chiropractors and acupuncture, visualization, a lot of things to get me past it, even though I was diagnosed that I would live with chronic pain the rest of my life. And at the age of 41, I kept thinking, there's longevity in my family. I really don't want to live to another 60 years with mm-hmm. chronic pain. Mm-hmm. And so I was trying to find a way that I could live and still do things that I enjoyed, which I couldn't do during that time.
So what do you feel was the turning point where you started to see some real visible results, where you had less pain and you were able to move?
It took about 8 years. Through that time, I was seeing the chiropractor and doing acupuncture. One of the chiropractors that I saw was also a neurologist, neurologist, and we decided that half of my brain was too active and the other half wasn't active enough. And when we got that in balance, then all of the chiropractic and adjustments and the acupuncture started unfolding and making a difference. But through that, I was also doing a lot of visualization, and I was still visualizing downhill skiing and dancing, which I couldn't do any of.
Those were joys of yours at one time. So mm-hmm. What's the point of visualizing something like that? What was the benefit?
Trying to train my brain that I could still do that again. So it was, thinking that if I'm seeing that happening, I would be able to do it again. And I haven't gone downhill skiing, but I have cross-country skied since. But it was about 6 real intense years of chronic pain, and then it started making some adjustments.
Sure. Well, one of the lessons that you shared with me through this whole process of getting healed is that really allowing others to help you. Tell us a little bit about that.
I have always been a strong, independent woman, and I used to change the oil in the car myself and do everything by myself. And when I was rear-ended and disabled, I needed help. I couldn't get out of bed without assistance. I couldn't cut my food. I couldn't wash my hair. There were so many things. And so the lesson was, it's okay to let somebody else help you. I don't have to do it all myself. I can still be independent, and just with that support.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So obviously we're socialized to be strong and
Yeah.
be independent, aren't we? So that is something
Yeah.
getting used to. Another challenge you said, now you're actually thankful for challenges such as these. Wow, how so?
Yeah, a lot of people don't, when I say that to people, they're like, really? And I don't wish it on anybody else. It's not from that standpoint, but I'm thankful from the standpoint that it has made a difference. It's opened my eyes. It's let me learn how to heal, how to accept assistance from others, and it's also made me who I am today. I always look at that as I wouldn't be who I am today without having gone through that experience. So now when challenges come up, I just think I've been through it. This one will get past also. And so from a lot of those standpoints, and I can use my experience to help others.
So were there times, Beth, that you just wanted to give up, that you didn't see any hope for yourself? What was that like?
There were definitely times, I remember at one point being suicidal just because I didn't see hope. Finances were an issue. The insurance wasn't going to cover any of the medical expenses because it was natural instead of taking drugs. And just living with the chronic pain was so devastating. I couldn't read a book. I'd have to keep repeating and rereading everything. Watching TV, I'd have to replay everything. I couldn't remember things. And one of the other things, besides the chronic pain, I was also diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And I asked my chiropractor one day, I said, so am I cured? And he said, not if you go back to the lifestyle, a previous lifestyle, the symptoms will come again. So I'm real conscientious of the lifestyle that I'm leading and making sure I'm being healthy and doing everything I can because I don't want to go through that again.
Absolutely. What an encouraging thing to know that you can actually, there are things that we can do that within our own power to regain that quality of life.
And we need to be able to take that, empower yourselves to think that yes, I can heal myself. It doesn't matter what the doctor is telling you that you're going to live like this the rest of your life. You can. And maybe not to the full extent. I still have some trouble with my shoulders, but I can do all the things that I used to do. Maybe with the limitations. I used to craft and sew, and now I have to take breaks a little bit more often than I used to. But I can do the things, but by empowering myself that, yes, I can do that.
Anything else for somebody who's sitting at home watching this segment that has had something similar to this happening to them? What if they're just in a spot where they just can't even fathom getting better because everything they've tried has not helped? What would you say?
Keep a positive attitude. I've gone off and on writing down my gratitudes, but every morning I wake up grateful. Every night I go to bed grateful. We went to the grocery store last night and I was pushing that grocery cart going, I can do this now. Whereas in the past, I would push the grocery cart and that would put me in bed for a week to two with their chronic pain. It would just flare it up so much again. So I did a lot of reading of setting affirmations, keeping faith, and sometimes maybe we're not supposed to heal, but that we can still use that in a different healing way of helping others. I've learned that challenges of any kind can have a good outcome and a lesson and a purpose to help somebody else. So those who are kind of feeling down and out, find a way to empower yourself, find a way to give yourself the affirmations, to find something to do that makes you feel good. I had inherited a lot of dolls, collectible dolls from my mom, and I would sit and clean those, which meant that I was playing with those and they would laugh and giggle and not respond back to me. So I could complain to them and they didn't respond in a negative way or say, I'm tired of hearing you complain. So that for me was one of the things. So find something you can do
Sure.
to make a...
So that you can vent, so to speak, and get it out.
I would like to say that part of my healing journey included eating healthy, avoiding the sugars, the toxins, the food with the toxins, dairy and gluten. And I used to look at candy bars and think pain, because sugar can be such an inflammatory, and that would flare up the pain. So that's something else people should also keep in mind and consider, is changing your lifestyle to healthy eating and getting some exercise. And when you're in the middle of pain, that's hard to do, but even getting up and moving can make a difference.
Thank you, Beth, for sharing your courageous story and being an inspiration of resilience and showing that we do have input in our quality of life. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Scientific data proves that once you believe healing is possible, it can be. So what do you believe?